This club's about winning trophies. I'm inexperienced in a lot of those things.
3-0. Sorry for smiling there.
Almost lost the cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How you doing? Omonia FC keeping the drama going late. One of those games, United in control. Pepper in the goalkeeper. Sharp in terms of his ability. Double keeper, double saves, but finally.
Double keeper, double burger with cheese.
Double burger and cheese. That's what I want. Double mixed salt. But you know what? McTominay does it late. At the end, you have to say Erik ten Hag manages the game exceptionally well in terms of his subs, pushing forward, looking for those 3 points. European Knights gets a late winner. What's not to like? Good momentum headed into the big game on the weekend against the Magpies. That's going to be a tough one. Newcastle in form, new owners, spending real money. You know, they probably already have a better front office than Manchester United does. It's going to be a big test for this side. Also talking about rotation, something that you talked about a lot. He went with another strong side against the lowly Omonia. It paid off. We got the win.
Yeah, paid off. Yeah,
we got the win. We
Look,
got 3 points.
I know we got 3 points, but man,
there's a lot of games coming, especially in the league. We got Newcastle, Tottenham next Wednesday, and then Chelsea. They're still Chelsea. They'll always be Chelsea the following Saturday. How you feeling? How we doing?
Look, you to have that team at home under the lights, European Nights, and that was a tough one. I imagine drawing that game. It's a results-based business, sir. At the end of the day, he got the result. They got the result. No one's going to be remembering this one when we're playing the final in the Europa League somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Listen to that Hans and Franz in penalties, something like that. I've seen this movie before. Look, in a month where we have that many fixtures, I think 8, it's crazy. You can't be. It's on to the next one. This is just business. I would have liked to see them do business in the first half, get some subs, get some of these tired legs off. Instead, we actually need Eriksen on. We needed McTominay on. Mixed sauce with the difference maker. But good teams find a way, and these early group stage games are tricky. And Ten Hag's finding his feet. But look, Casemiro, what a boot. I mean, rattled the bar. I'm not going to say the quality of the keeper was so amazing. I think the quality of the finishing was poor. Rashford had so many clear-cut chances. Not going in on Marcus at all. Just get those out of your system against Omonia at home because, man, we had so many chances here, and we should have done better.
We should have done better. Like you said, it should have been a foregone conclusion in the first half. They could have been done and buried, you know, if Rashford's finishing. It was really, he had some of the best chances of the game. He looked electric, you know, really other than his finishing. But that being said, frustrating because I think the team was set out to be in a position where we dominate, put a bunch of goals past them, and then bring on some kids, bring off people that have been playing too much. But United won't care. They'll be talking about the 3 points. Late winner, builds momentum, builds confidence, and this team's going to need it because it's a sprint until the World Cup. We're basically a month out from the stop of the season, the pause for the upcoming World Cup. So a lot of really tough games. Not missing out on the Newcastle game, which is a really tough one. This is not the Newcastle of before. If you look at our record in the last 5 games against them, I don't think there's a team we've done better in recent memory. But that's going to change because they're playing some really good football at the moment. Big challenge for him. And then the games just come thick and fast. You know, Spurs on Wednesday, they're playing well. Chelsea's playing well under their new English manager. So he's getting a lot of love. It's amazing how much the English press love their English managers.
It is true. It's true as time. Look, since City slapped us around 6-3, and Erling Haaland, you know, did the deed. We beat Omonia away. It was shaky. We beat Everton away, and then we beat Omonia at home. I mean, that's a solid, not the toughest teams, but after a big loss, 3 wins. It's just doing business. Now we go into 3 more important games. Newcastle Sunday, 6 a.m. Pacific, then Tottenham Wednesday. That Tottenham game is the one I'm looking at. Conte versus Erik ten Hag. That's going to be interesting. Touchline. And then obviously Chelsea. We lose these 3. Meltdown. We win 2 or 3. We're right where we want to be. This is the crux of the biscuit for October. These Omonia games, like, fine, we got them. They're in the back. If they're in the rearview window, it's really these 3 EPL games in, what is that, 6 days? 6 days? Yeah.
That's right. 'Cause Sunday to Saturday, 3 games, tough teams all around.
That's incredible.
The first 2 games are at home, which should help us. Then we have to go down to London for the Chelsea match. The thing that was encouraging about yesterday, of course, it was a shit team, but they played some good football. We dominated the match. We saw kind of the Eric Ten Hag approach coming together more and more. And it has to be said, since getting battered by Brentford, we've been on a great run. Won some big matches. Obviously, City, that was a humbling, but not the most surprising. Also, when you come out flat and they come out like a train. That was.
But Omonia should have had a goal. I mean, Omonia definitely should have had a goal on that breakaway.
But it should have been like 6-1. Honestly,
I know you're getting that biased fan take on it. It should have been. It should have been. But at the end of the day, we're giving up these breakaways the other way. That's what I'm trying to say. If Omonia's going to break on you and have a clear-cut chance, Newcastle's going to have 2 or 3.
Many.
Tottenham's going to have. Son is on fire. He's going to have a few. So it's going to be on our attack because we're going to concede playing this way. We need to score goals. As a fan, it should be exciting. Let's just hope that we are on top at the end of the day. Quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, we are for fans, by fans. If you want to support us, please check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. We don't have any sponsors on the podcast. We actively turn them down. We are going the direct fan support. Big shout out to all of our Patreon subscribers so far. We post a behind-the-scenes episode on our Patreon every month. We give away pins, stickers, scarves, shirts, you name it, plus tons of other benefits. Please check out our page and sign up. Also check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com. Great fan blog content. This platform is for fans, by fans, just trying to get that biased Muppet take out there. Also check out our store, AmericanRedDevils.store. Shirts, scarves, beanies, everything you want to be a Muppet. You drape yourself in the ARD. Let's go. Pick something up. It goes to support us. Everything is reasonably priced. We haven't raised our prices because of inflation, sir. We hold them down for the true Muppets on the couch.
We've lowered the prices, anti-inflationary prices over at the American Red Devils store. Speaking of other ways to support the pod, other than picking up a Glazer Out scarf, they're top quality, like everything that we sell at our store. Another great way to support the podcast is write a review. And even better, we're giving away free ARD gear from now until the end of time, just for supporting the pod. All you have to do, write a 5-star review wherever you listen, whether it be Spotify or iTunes, and send a screenshot of that review to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear. Send it anywhere in the world. Wherever you are, we'll get it to you. We got a great review coming from Ryan Johnson. 5 stars, the best American United content. I tried to follow quite a few United pods over the last few years, but the ARD pod is easily the best one I've found. The content is always on time and relatively unbiased. Appreciate you. The guys do a great job separating the stories from emotion most of the time and always have great insights. We'll be a lifelong listener. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for all the American Red Devils listening and writing those reviews. Keep them coming.
Unbiased.
Yeah, we're not.
We have to step up our bias.
We are very biased.
We're supposed to be biased on this. We're giving you that biased fan take from the couch. Look, pod never sleeps. We were up at 5:45 this morning getting these Europa League games out. So we got young kids, got a lot going on. The only way to get these Europa League pods out is to get up early Friday morning and pod it out. We do it for the love of the game and appreciate everyone who listens. And these awesome reviews, they, if you're thinking about it, please do it because it helps us. Alex loves reading them out. He texts me them. We love going through, having a laugh. Let's get into it. We got Hans and Franz, never in doubt, and you wouldn't believe the teams that are coming to join them. Oh, sir, how we feeling about Hans and Franz? I'll tell you what. The DJ crew is pretty pumped. We got Ajax, Atletico, Barcelona, Sporting Lisbon, AC Milan, Shakhtar, no surprise, Sevilla, and Juve might be coming down to the club in Eastern Europe hanging out with us. Look, the cream rises to the top. Tons of good Champions League clubs probably coming in. Again, You always argue to me, the Europa League's worth playing because we don't have anyone to play against. Now we're going to have clubs to play against. Does this change your PhD thesis that you play Europa League because there's no other big teams and you're guaranteed to win it against the Villarreals of the world?
I never said there's a guarantee to win it. I said it's
Just
easier.
Arsenal and somebody.
Well, the best teams that were in it before the Champions League shook out the way they seem to be shaking out, and it's not over, right? There's 2 more matches coming, so these might not be all the teams that make it. It was Roma and Arsenal, and I'll tell you what, Ajax, Atletico, Barca, Sporting, AC Milan, even Shakhtar,
They're big teams.
They're big teams, but this is why it's important that we have to not take for granted our last 2 game weeks of the Europa League, because if you win your group, you go straight to the last 16. Otherwise, you have to go in like these playoff rounds or whatever, and that's when you be playing these Champions League sides. So it's an important tournament. It's a good opportunity to get in the Champions League. So here's the beach. I mean, Eric Ten Hag has shown how much he cares about Europa League, because if he wasn't taking it seriously, you think he'd start at 11 this strong? I don't think so. You're not playing it again.
It's the remix.
I think it's Conference League.
Okay, Hans and Franz tried to get me to put the remix. Alex shut it down.
I don't think we need 5 minutes of Hans and Franz.
I'm in. I'm like, how else are you going to get pumped up for this competition? Let's get into the lineup here. We had Dave saves, world number 1 in net, Malacia, Martinez, Lindelof, center back pairing, Delo at right back, Casemiro, CDM, the man, the highly paid Brazilian, with another Brazilian, Fred, Bruno, Rashford, Ronaldo, and Antony. How are we feeling about that starting 11?
It's a strong 11, and it's the first time we've seen that midfield pairing, one that I think we're almost certainly going to see over these coming weeks because the opponents are stepping up, right? Fred, Casemiro, that Brazilian combo. But otherwise, very strong 11. Back 4 kind of picked itself. Shaw due for a blow, but otherwise, we have no depth in center back. We got no depth at right back. Obviously, it's going to be De Gea. Ronaldo gets his start. Anthony locked in at right wing. And Eriksen finally getting a blow. That was one thing. This team was well set up that if we needed players to come in and make the difference, we had them. And if not, if we kind of rolled, then you could bring in the Facundos of the world, the Iqbals of the world. That obviously didn't happen, but he was prepared for both, and that's always good to see from the manager. What did you make of this lineup when you saw it?
It's strong. It's a strong 11. I don't mind trying out a different midfield. I'm fine with the Fred, Casemiro, Bruno. It's really the front 3. You got to be able to rest somebody because you're going to need him full tilt against Newcastle, and you put out why can't Sancho play? I just think you need a little more freshening in the attack because you need these 3 to go ham against Newcastle and then Tottenham and then Chelsea. You're going to see how many matches we played, and playing big players against Omonia is going to come due in these next 3 games. We have 7 days, 3 EPL games, big games. These are big points. Going to determine if we're in the top 4 or not. And we drained a lot of our top lads in Cyprus and at home against a Cyprus nobody team. And that's why I think you need a little more Garnacho. You need Sancho. You need some backup players freshening up the attack here. And probably starting with, a Shaw, Sancho situation. I'm nervous about these EPL games. I think you're going to see us be tired.
It's fair. We know what? We came into the season with a decent amount of depth. Certain places we have very little depth, up front being one of them, right? Martial, come back into fitness. Center back, it's not even, there was Varane on the bench, of course, but otherwise, like Harry Magoo, he's out, and then there's nothing really beyond that.
Iqbal,
he's not ready to start.
No, but he's due for
but he's not due for a match. He's not even next man up. Alonga,
for
you
Europa
thought,
League,
right, like
if
a
you're
Sancho,
looking at it, you
but
can't look
he's
at
taking it seriously. He wants all 3 points. He wants to win, and clearly, because that 11 is
but
very
it's going
strong.
to this isn't FIFA. These guys get tired. They get injured. The more you play them, the higher the injury risk. The physios are telling them, like Rashford's been playing like every game. You got to be getting them a blow in here in this month, if ever. And Omonia is a team that, at the end of the day, if you play the kids and you draw them at home, it's not that big of a deal. I really don't care. I really care about Newcastle. And Newcastle's fully rested. They don't play in Europe. That's what you got to be thinking about. Who we're playing. Like Tottenham is a different story. Tottenham and Chelsea are a different story. But Newcastle's going to be fully ready to go. And I'd be surprised if you didn't see it on Sunday. Let's get into it. First half, United come out in control, was never in doubt. Ronaldo had a decent early chance. I think Ronaldo's starting to look sharp here. He didn't necessarily score, but he's effective in the attack as the focal point.
No doubt. I mean, his link of play is solid. His finishing has not been where it's at, but think about the game before, that Everton strike, how nice that was. That was vintage Ronaldo. And he plays an influence. We have lack of depth. Who else are you going to play up front? Rashford's much better on the wing. Martial, he's not available. His injury record has gotten honestly worse. This is as bad as we've ever seen it. And he's an elder statesman. Ronaldo is one of the greatest of all times. He has so much to teach some of these young lads. So he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere in January. He's going to continue to be an important player. And, I don't think Martial's ready to start on Sunday. So I would imagine CR7 starting up front.
And shame on all the United fans that are hating on Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't even think they're Manchester United fans because, to be honest, seeing him wear the red shirt in this game even, it's a special thing that you get to see. It really is. By the way, jersey looks good on him. He knows how to sell a kid, I'll tell you. Because, this jersey, I see Ronaldo, European Nights, I'm back, baby. It's like, what a player. We have to appreciate this. You can't be slagging him. And this is one thing, when United was good, say if Paul Scholes was out there, 37, doing a job, nobody was slating Scholes. No one ever slated legends that were playing
good. We were good. And then I was just thinking the same thing.
Hold on a second.
You're onto something, which is everybody focused on the negative yesterday. I know we should have rolled this team, but everyone was like, Bruno's playing like shit. Brad looks like shit. Ronaldo's. It's just why can't we talk about the players that look good in this game? It's like Rashford's link-up play looked awesome. He looked back into his vintage self, other than his finishing. I thought Freddie Casemiro did well. I thought Bruno played well, really well at moments. He should have had an assist early with Rashford. So let's focus on the positives. Glass half full. All I'm saying, let's be glass half full.
Malacia looks sharp on the overlap too.
Martinez looked like a beast as usual.
Yeah, this is tune-up. 22nd minute, great chance for the keeper. Bruno wins the ball back. 1-2 with Ronaldo, but comes out well to deny Rashford. The keeper was on everything, but I would say this one was, there weren't amazing saves. He made a lot of saves, but I think our finishing was poor. Bruno goes just wide in the 25th minute, and 28th minute, Rashford draws the keeper in a tight fingertip save with a curling effort.
That was a good save.
We were all over him.
I know. I heard Scholes slagging him. His finishing wasn't as good, but the 22nd minute, that was a real chance. That's where Bruno should have had an assist. He came out very well. I agree, the saves, but I think he used his body well. He had a good performance. He had a 9.9 rating.
33rd minute, Casemiro at the bar. The keeper didn't touch this one, for the record. He dove the other way. It looked like he maybe got a piece. He didn't touch it. This hit from Casemiro, you're starting to see what he can offer from the midfield. Instead of Fred shooting, be like, no, don't shoot. 39th minute, Fred has to score. Anthony with a great ball finds Fred, but he misplaced the header. This was the story of the first half. We were coming in waves. 42nd minute, United caught out, but Omonia makes a mess of it. I would argue a pass here sets Omonia up and puts them up 1-0. This is another. We always said if you're going to play this way, you're going to concede in a certain way, and this looked like a golden opportunity for Omonia, one that we shouldn't have made. And I'm looking at this one as a red flag because this is going to happen against Newcastle more often, and Callum Wilson is going to put you in the dirt.
This is the only. To be fair, this is the only chance they had in the entire game.
2-on-1.
They should have.
This is a hockey chance.
They should have made more of it, no doubt. And a team in the Premier League as good as Newcastle will make more of it. But lesson learned, they're going to have opportunities, and we should have been 2-3 up at this point, but. That's not the way football works. It's about the scoreline. And at this point, it was 0-0. And they had a good
hold on to that Muppet 1-0 win. All right, 45th minute, Casemiro with a decent header. Goes just wide. That was the first half. Tons of opportunities. Couldn't finish. Finishing school is where Manchester United needs to go.
Saving goals for next week. That's what Eric Ten Hag said. He's like, you know what? I hope we have goals for next week because they're playing. Otherwise they're playing good football. Obviously,
but everything leading up to the last opportunity, before the final shot, was great. Rashford getting behind 1v1, everything like
pushing.
they were humming, and being able to work it in the box against a team defending I actually liked. It was just the end product was just a little rusty. Jump into the second half, more of the same. 46th-minute double save from the Omonia goalkeeper on Antony and Rashford. 48th minute, another double save on Fred and Ronaldo. 59th, Rashford with one-on-one with the keeper. This one has to go in. Has to. He fluffed this one, the 59th minute. This is guaranteed goal.
Yeah. I mean, these are the goals he scored against the Scousers. You know, some of these big goals he's had this season. Rashford one-on-one with the keeper. He rounds it. He finishes well.
He never takes it
looked
by
good.
the keeper. That's, you know.
Yeah, not enough. Not enough.
I guess he did it against Pickford when it was VAR. But,
Well,
this one was right
slick
for
hair.
opening your body, going the other way, and then just like easy as you like. Double sub Sancho and Shaw for Antony and Malacia. Got to bring on big guns here. And this is what we're talking about. You do the business early, you get the players off. And instead, you're bringing more players on. 66th minute, another Rashford chance. 70th sub, Eriksson for Fred. 81st, McSauce for Casemiro. I'll tell you one thing. Erik ten Hag got the subs right.
Oh, yeah.
Scotty McSauce.
Too cynically by Panayotou. That's a caution. Eriksson. Sancho. Turns back. McTominay finds a way through. What a roar around Old Trafford. A roar of great relief. Omonia's resistance broken at the very end. That hurts.
Nothing like seeing the shot of the Cyprus fans at Old Trafford not in a good mood with that winner. Look, how could you not have good vibes after that one?
This
is
I would have loved 5-0, but I love a late winner.
No, and this is a squad victory. You look at the subs who came on, McTominay, Sancho, everyone did a part. Shaw's in the box there. I really felt like this is a squad win. You can start with that starting 11. You bring on some players, and you still get the job done. The only problem is it's on Thursday nights, and it's against a horrible team that you shouldn't need to do that with. But if you're starting to have that chemistry where players can come on and still do a job, credit to Erik ten Hag. I mean, he made the subs. He got the win. That's what it's all about. You can't focus on the haters right now. You just got to focus on Newcastle United. It's just too many games thick and fast. This one's done. We got the win. Moving on, That's all she wrote.
We've seen so many games like this historically for Manchester United, especially in Champions League or Europa League.
In the group,
right? There's like one of those games, usually at Old Trafford. United, by and large, is dominating the match. Lots of chances. Oftentimes, the keeper is having a worldie, and we've had opportunities, under Ole, lose the game, draw the game. But we saw today was the manager managed it very well. The players kept pushing. We were attacking in waves. Obviously, the finishing wasn't sharp enough.
Yeah,
but
the
this
intent
type of
was
win,
there, yeah.
the intent was there, right? They were creating chances. The XG was like 4-0. And that doesn't matter. It has to have the score line. But late winner, I think it builds confidence. It was I like that what you said. It's a team goal. It was a team performance. Everybody was pushing. Everybody was involved. And the subs had an impact. Like, unbelievable. Like, put on McTominay, he gets the winner. Erik ten Hag, I tell you what, something with those substitute calls. He knows what he's doing.
Stats, 34 shots to Ammonia's 3, 13 on target to Ammonia's 1, 78% of the ball.
78.
Pass accuracy, 89%. We played well, and Scott McTominay is the first substitute to score a 90th minute winning goal in a European match for Manchester United since, sorry for smiling, only Mr. Nice Guy, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Can you believe that sorry for smiling quote is just like,
Poor bastard.
Lives in infamy. That's like it.
I know.
So, sorry for smiling.
I know.
Group E standings. Ole's memory will forever be in the Europa League.
We're not going to Conference League, basically.
Real Sociedad, 12 points. Manchester United, 9 points. Sheriff, as you famously coined them, with 3. And Omonia with 0. Yes, we are not going to Conference League. I think that is a great thing for Manchester United. And maybe some exciting teams coming down out of the Champions League. And that will spice up Europa League and give us a chance. I hope we get what we're all looking for, and we know the draw is rigged. We know it's rigged. The way, like, it's totally rigged.
They're always rigged.
Like, remember we called it that one time, and they had to redo the draw?
I know. And they did it again. The
Yeah,
same
we were like,
draw.
we're going to get,
Atletico.
Or
Barca and
No, it's
Atletico.
Barca. Yeah. So mark my words that if Barcelona drops down, Manchester United will be playing Barcelona in the knockout because they rig it in a way for TV ratings. Obviously, it's UEFA. They're not above corruption. But what do we know? Let's check in with our manager. The tight top gray turtle.
Look,
the
I like
turtle.
the turtleneck, bro. I like it.
The high top turtle, Eric Ten Hag.
Turtle.
It's in the net at the other.
On the win performance and
Tierney.
even the amount of goalkeeper as well.
The last one?
The goalkeeper as well.
Yeah.
The goal.
I said well done. He had many saves, so many, I think, to be clear goals were not in, so he kept them in the game. So I would say the performance till the box was good, but then the finishing, of course, was not that good. And let's hope that we save the goals for coming week.
Samuel?
What was the thinking behind the substitutions? Because 3 of the players they combined for the goal. Was it more penetration required?
First of all, I want to put Marcus closer with Ronnie to give him more support, and also to get a different variation on the right wing. They have to adapt to more a midfield player like Bruno is than a typical winger, and in that cooperation they are adapted for 60 minutes on Anthony and Diogo. Then with Bruno and with Diogo you get a different variation what they have to adapt to. And that is you try to bring an impact. You bring an impulse in the game. That was the idea, and obviously also with Marcus more box entrance.
Eric, how do you improve the finishing? I'm guessing you can't have any complaints about more than 30 odd shots on goal, but how do you improve your players' finishing?
What you see is that we, in every game, except the game against Brentford, we score. And so in this team there's a lot of creativity and scoring capabilities. So sometimes you have a night it will not succeed, and some players had today was the night. But what the cool thing is, and I have to credit the team for that, they keep going and they don't give up. They keep believing in the score, and in the end they get rewarded, and that is the way how you have to do it.
But have you had
That's manager wise beyond his years. That's a great point. Like we said, they kept pressing. They had the mentality to keep going. It doesn't get much more Dutch than a turtleneck and a blazer.
He pulls it off well. I mean, I think that's the luck, especially as we enter the darker months. Nah, he looks good. He looks good.
Turtleneck and a blazer.
He looks pro. He looks like he's ready
That's
for
like,
the
you know,
European nights.
Like Pep. That's Pep territory.
Well,
you know, I like him.
bald fraud. They got a bald fraud.
So
we got a bald fraud.
The suit and tie. It's like
He looked good.
Ole
He looked
did it
good.
right. It was like the suit and tie
until
and
the
then
final.
Until he went in
He
the final.
bottled
He
that.
went full Frodo Baggins, like some weird patterned, like
How'd that work out?
horrible. I say, you know.
But Eric Ten Hag
we
wins
can't
finals.
focus. You know, the manager fashion corner. We can't focus on too much.
I liked it. You don't
Another
like it.
point we didn't raise that I would like to would be the fact that Rashford off the left just looks like a player, right? So obviously the end product wasn't there, but him coming off the left is so threatening. The runs in behind, him linking up with Ronaldo, I thought looked really good. So if there is a highlight to say, that's where Rashford should be playing. That is how you get the best out of our players. That is why Ronaldo will be our 9 until Tony Martial can get healthy after sitting in that back to tank for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if it ever happens, like you said, it's a very good point. It's like certain positions are being locked in by players, right? Like midfield is kind of finding its own footing. It's going to be Eriksen and Bruno with someone playing behind them, probably Casemiro, maybe sometimes McTominay. You know you're going to play Fred and Casemiro probably against the tougher opponents. I think we're going to see them, if not against Newcastle, but definitely against Spurs or Chelsea. But left wing, locked on, fit and fiery Marcus Rashford under a new manager who we can get behind. He's playing really good football. And then on the right side, Anthony. No one's taking that spot at the moment. He's looking better and better every match. Strong physicality. It's just the number 9 spot, right? Ronaldo's leaving next season, Martial ain't it. I want him to be it, but he ain't it. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. He's not going to be the starting
this pod's been saying
number
it
9.
the whole time. This pod's been
Fitness,
saying it.
I mean, his injury record, we both said it.
You don't like you score 6 goals in like 2 years and then you go to
It's the
Sevilla,
injuries.
do
He's a
nothing.
player, but it's the injury
it's not like
record.
he But thinking from a director of football perspective, you send him to Sevilla,
What director of football?
He hits like 11 goals. You're like, wow, there's a player there. Bring him back. He
one
didn't.
goal? Yeah,
he
he did
didn't do
nothing.
anything for
He did
Sevilla.
nothing.
It was injured. Like it was a failure of a loan. And he blamed United before he left. And then he comes back, scores a few goals, like 2 or 3 goals in preseason, and then like Murtaugh's like, yeah, he's our number 9 for the whole year. It's like
Cheap
what
and
a,
good. There
What
you
a
go.
club. That's right. We got a next match: Manchester United versus Newcastle at Old Trafford, the hallowed ground. Our 10th game in the Premier League, if you can believe it, is Sunday, October 16th, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. I love these 6 a.m. kickoffs. Games won versus Newcastle, 90, drawn 40. Games lost, 43. You know the history with Newcastle and Sir Alex Ferguson. Have a laugh. They wear the black and white stripes. We should be slapping them around, but they got some new owners, sir, that are back. And your boy, Eddie Howe, you called for Eddie Howe to come to United for a long time. I think we would have been better off with Eddie Howe over the last 5 years than a few of those managers we had. First time we ever played Newcastle, 1895, count it. We beat them in the 2nd division. You like that? And we've won 4 and drawn 1 of our last 5. Newcastle coming in. They drew Crystal Palace. They drew Bournemouth. They beat a bad Fulham side. They smacked Brentford 5-1, and they're coming to play us. So they've kind of been up and down and all around. Coming to Old Trafford, I believe this game is going to be the true test. This is a team on the rise under a new owner with good players, Callum Wilson, Almiron. They got good defenders all around the pitch. We got their backup keeper, but this team will test us. It will put us to the metal. We just played on Thursday. They're a full, healthy side. I believe they're up there in the table, although I don't look at it.
I do. Right behind us. 6th place. They're playing good football, like you said. Next 3 matches, they're all going to be difficult. Obviously, like Spurs and Chelsea, on their name recognition, we know what they're bringing to town. But Newcastle, like you said, it's like they spent a shit ton of money. They put expertise in the front office, and they're playing some really good football. So it's going to be a challenge for the side, but we have to rise to the occasion.
Must win. This is a
They're all must wins.
No,
They're all must wins.
This is must win in the spot where you're playing Tottenham and Chelsea, and you're thinking, okay, worst case scenario, we lose. If you think about how Tottenham's playing, we're not going to win that game. The way Chelsea's playing at the moment, we're not going to win that game. Obviously, as a Muppet, we're winning all 3, but you have to look at it and say those teams are better than what United has in a rebuild year under a new manager. You just have to be honest with yourself about where we are at. And if we lose both those games, you have to win this one at a minimum. Now, obviously, I'm thinking 2 or 3. I think you beat Newcastle and you steal it Chelsea away. But obviously the bridge is probably hard. So maybe Tottenham at home because they're bottlers. You have to do 1. You have to win 1, win, draw 2. But at a minimum, you have to be beating Newcastle. And that's why I'm saying it's a must win. Tottenham's not a must win and Chelsea's not a must win. But this Newcastle game is, considering who are playing in that tight of a turnaround. But the good thing is Tottenham's got a tight turnaround. Chelsea's got a tight turnaround. So everyone's going to be rotating. Everyone's going to be dealing with it. Maybe that gives us the advantage. What do you think?
No, it's a good point. I mean, these are really tough matches. I don't think you'll find as tough of a run for United this season over a 1 week period, right? You're playing we're in 5th place. We're playing the 6th place team. We're playing the 4th place team. And we're playing the 3rd place team.
Yeah,
so
but no one checks the table before Christmas.
No, but that's important. That's context because those are like 3 of the top 7 teams in England at the moment, and you're playing them all in quick succession, like you said. Now, other than Newcastle, they're all dealing with squad rotation and lots of fixtures, but as you said, this probably is a must-win given that context and given how difficult those other 2 matches will be. But, dude, this is United. I think arguably we're one of the finest sides in England at the moment playing under this manager. Obviously, City humbled the shit out of us. But if we go out there and play as well as we can play, we should be able to get all 3 points. But this is not going to be an easy win, no matter what, no matter how well we play. They're gonna take it to us to the 90th minute.
Newcastle was founded in 1892 by the merger of Newcastle East End and Newcastle West End. Don't get it mixed up. They play their home games at St. James's Park in the center of Newcastle. And following the Taylor Report's requirement that all Premier League clubs have all-seater stadiums. The ground was modified in the mid-1990s and currently has a capacity of 52,000. Although we are not playing there, they do have a famous stadium in the north of England. If you haven't been, Newcastle is a great place to have a dark ale. We've had a few on our way to watch Sunderland away. We were actually away, Manchester United versus Sunderland, for David Moyes right before he was sacked, and see Zlatan's last goal for United. A great away day at the Stadium of Light. Boy, that's a trek up there. And obviously, Newcastle is a long-standing rivalry with Sunderland, which it contests the Tyne-Wear Derby since 1898. That's the Red Stripes versus the Black Stripes. That is a hell of a match. And we did see Sunderland bounce back from the second division at Wembley last season. What a great, it's so amazing to go back to London, huh? What a trip.
I'm about to say, speaking of Sunderland till you die is coming back.
I know.
I didn't put it in the news, but it is back.
I was going to talk about it anyway. Sunderland till I die is back. Newcastle till I die is here. We got to be beating them.
Tale of two cities. I mean, go up there. It's like, you can't believe how far north it is, right? You think, oh, Manchester's in the north. No, like Newcastle / Sunderland are in the north of England on the coast, very close to each other, sister cities in a way, but big rivals. And Newcastle's a little wealthier. Sunderland's a little bit more rough and ready. And you just kind of feel of it. Like even just going from one town to the next, take the train from Newcastle and you take this like mini train to Sunderland. It just feels like totally different worlds. But
nothing like going away in like fight night, get on the train, get fired up.
That was the scene. And Stadium of Light, that place is a scene, especially under David Moyes, sending them
so
packing.
We're getting hassled by the stewards.
Get him.
The stewards trying to like kick us out.
They got new owners, sir. They got a deal. I'll tell you what, Saudi's buying him for £300 million. That feels like a deal for a team as storied as Newcastle. That's nothing.
Newcastle repping the 4-3-3. They got the one and only Pope in net. Kieran Trippier, we were linked to him. What a buy. He turned out well. Longstaff, you've seen it before. Callum Wilson, Almiron. So they got a team. They're just playing well. Eddie Howe is a prudent English manager. You should fear this squad. This is going to be another trap game. I think they're all trap games. Injuries. Harry Magoo, not back yet, but he's with the team. Sky McTominay is back. Tony Martial currently being assessed. Donny van de Beek, he is MIA, as well as Brendan Williams. Who? Brendan who? And Aaron Wamba. Who? Saka.
Missed the spider. Apparently McTominay is out because of yellows. 5 yellow cards.
Okay, there you go.
So he's not starting. We'll talk about lineups in a second, but
then why was he sitting on the bench against Omonia? That's a
I don't think yellows translate from Europe to Premier League. I think
no, of course they don't. But like you would think if he's out against Newcastle, he'd start against Omonia.
Well, I think he wanted to try this that Brazilian pair that we've been all looking forward to. We
Ten
talked about that for years.
I think Ten Hag runs him in the ground. I think that's like
he wants fit as a fiddle players.
He's run him into the ground. I'm getting that vibe. It's not like a rotate vibe. It's not like a listen to the physio vibe. It's just like you're playing every game. Like that's kind of
he ain't worried about. I'll tell you what, he's not worried about the World Cup, sir. He's literally like, I need to build up as much momentum until we have
like
the
run
break
him in the ground.
Yeah, we need to be in the top 4, and that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but we saw that with Ole, and you take every competition.
He ain't
so you
Ole,
have
bro.
to prioritize cup competitions. Otherwise, you got to run this team into the ground, and we don't have a lot of depth. Booking the bookies.
Lineups.
We say, oh, yeah, sir, give me your lineup.
Sorry, sir. De Gea, Delo, Martinez, Varane. He's back in it. Shaw, I think, gets the start. Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksson. It could also be Casemiro, Fred, but I think he's going to go the more aggressive route and try and just get some goals. Martial's ready to start. Rashford on the left. Alonga, that's not happening. No, Anthony on the right. Sir, what you got?
I don't think Tony's going to be back for this game. I'm going to say pretty similar. De Gea, Delo, Martinez, Varane, Shaw, Casemiro, Bruno, Eriksson. I'm going to go Rashford, Ronaldo, and Anthony. You're going to see the same front three we saw against Omonia. Booking the bookies, United the favorites, minus 105 to win, plus 270 for the draw, and plus 270 for Newcastle win. Pretty tight odds, given those are the bookies' odds. What is your score prediction?
Tight match, 2-1. I think United get a late winner, but it's going to go all the way to the end. This is not going to be an easy match. What do you got?
I'm going to say 1-1. I think this is a draw. I think it's a trap game. I think we're going to concede, and you saw that attack having trouble finishing. That could be the angle I'm going to take, sir. United in the news. Sunderland till I die is back, baby.
Top of the news. Most important news.
You know what? Shame on them for bringing it back when good things happen to Sunderland.
I know,
because
they're on
the
the up.
show,
They're
the
on
whole point of the show is
They're
like
falling
watching
apart.
this town just struggle. You know, that's the whole point. Just kidding. Leading it off, Manchester United. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been told the club will not be sold. Manchester United, apparently, he gave a interview to Financial Times. Said, hey, I try to buy Chelsea. I want to buy Manchester United. It's owned by the Glazers. And, quote, if they'd been for sale in the summer, yes, we probably would have been going to buy them following the Chelsea offer. But we can't sit around hoping that one day Manchester United will become available. Now, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he knows how to play the game. He's given the interview for a certain reason. He's giving the interview, putting out the feelers. Then the Glazers come back with the price tag.
Right after.
You're starting to see it. This is what I've been talking about. Everyone's been saying, YouTube fan channels got these offers and all this chatter. That's nothing. These are the big dogs. The big dogs. Jim Ratcliffe, big dog. Wants to buy the club. Glazers, big dog. Pry it from my cold, dead hands. And this is, you're actually seeing their niceties. He actually said good things about the Glazers. He's complimenting them. He's saying he's interested in buying the club. The Glazers say the club could be sold for a certain price. This is how the game is played. These are the big dogs from the source. And obviously there's no deal because
they ain't selling.
The Glazers, this is how you run it. If the Glazers are not motivated to sell, which means they're not running a process to sell, which means they don't need to sell and they don't want to sell, you put out a ridiculous price. If there's somebody sniffing, you say, hey, man, you want it? It's insane. That's how it's like a strategy, M&A strategy as old as time is. You don't want to sell something. You just say, all right, well, I'll sell it for an insane price. And clearly Ratcliffe's not going to buy it for an insane price. So what is this telling me? It tells me the Glazers are going to be around for a little longer.
No doubt. And, that was always our fear. There's more fat on this summer hog that is Manchester United, and they have every intention of sucking every last penny out of this club. The fact is, he's playing on the offense, right? They're not looking to do a deal. Well, how do you kind of butter them up a little bit? You talk about your ambition, you talk about what you're thinking about, and you also just lie, right? They are proper gentlemen, nicest people. That's a fucking lie. These people are not proper gentlemen.
I know. He knows how to do a deal.
I know. That's smart.
Grease the wheels. Come on.
No, but what this is frustrating, this is like you said, it's like the fact that they came back a day later and it's like, yeah, it's £9 billion, which is probably double what the club is worth, means they don't want to sell.
Not, so first of all, if Chelsea was 5...
it should be 6 or 7.
It should be 7, right? Because Chelsea, as currently run, is not feasible. From their revenue doesn't cover their expenses. Manchester United's revenue covers the expenses minus the capital structure and debt that the Glazers have put on the
dividends.
club. So if you get rid of the debt, which you obviously will have a clean capital structure when you acquire them, and you get rid of the dividends, Manchester United is in the green and will be kicking off $100 million plus in cash flow every year and can sustain being the greatest football team of all time under a good owner. So the idea is like paying $5 billion for Chelsea really set the FU price for Manchester United at 7 or 8 because United is 600 million pounds a year. Obviously the pound's depreciating at the moment, but that is a serious chunk of change that even as much as the Glazers have tried to ruin that isn't really going anywhere. And Chelsea is not that type of asset. Chelsea is like, you got to start getting rid of players. You got to slim down Chelsea to make money. And can they compete at that level? You're going to see that over time because Todd Bowley's not going to invest in an unsustainable business model. Manchester United is sustainable. The price has to be at least a half turn. I'm thinking 7.5 bill, 8 bill. The Glazers are not off on the price. Unfortunately, the problem is that is a price that only a nation state can pay.
Or
Ratcliffe
Elon,
can't,
and he ain't buying. He's buying
Ratcliffe
Twitter.
can get to 4. He can get to 5,
maybe 6, but not beyond that.
But
probably.
the valuation is, I believe the valuation is correct. Like if Chelsea goes for 4.5, 5, it's got to be 2. It's got to be 7. 7.5,
Chelsea,
8, and they're asking for 9, and that's how you start a negotiation.
Yeah.
But I just don't think Ratcliffe has that type of cash. I think it was like $14 billion, and a lot of it's tied up into it's not like liquid. He isn't just sitting on Bitcoin.
But he could bring in money. Like he could bring in like more outside money to his consortium if he's willing to put in like $2 billion, and then he gets another.
But the problem is the money you got to invest after you buy it.
Well, that's true because you need another couple $1 billion to clean up the mess that they've built. And the frustrating thing is posturing. Will they sell? Will they not sell? Is there a buyer? Is he willing to pony up the price? I think you're absolutely right. It's like if Chelsea, they set the new floor. Chelsea, we can debate whether they're not worth $5 billion, but like Chelsea ain't no Manchester United, bro. This is like a new founded club that like no one gave a fuck about 20 years ago that got bought by literally a Russian mobster oligarch. Everyone was like, it's all good. They became very much like a favored team of Americans, right? They're in London. They had some success, right? They've like churned through managers.
No, it's not about that. It's about the future of the
No doubt. But the whole thing is,
but
Manchester United is an asset that cannot be compared to Chelsea in some ways because it's like a global entity, the most famous club in the world for good reason. And like you said, probably justifies the price.
You don't need to defend Manchester United on the pod.
So the Glazers are going to suck off every fucking dollar from it. They're going to sell.
I think
it's
$1 billion a Glazer. It's at least $1 billion a Glazer after tax. So it's got to be like $1.4 billion a Glazer. I think is kind of. I don't know the taxes in the UK.
Also, the deal got more expensive for an English billionaire, sir. Right? Like with the pound just like dying on the vine because they just keep shooting themselves in the foot over there in England. He's an English buyer. Most of his assets are probably in pounds, and they're American owners. They're going to want an American price tag in USD. So like that also factors in. It got 20% more expensive in the last 6 months.
Any chatter is good. But again, the Glazers are not off on this price. The question is, look at where the economy is heading. Look at where the world's heading. Can they get that price in a year from now? Probably not. I'm surprised.
That's a good point as well.
The best way to get the highest price for an asset is run a process. If they're running a process, we would know. So that's why I just don't think like Ratcliffe's going to Hail Mary $9 billion into it. He's only worth, I think, 14. It would make no sense. He's got to do it with a bunch of other people. It'd be complicated. It's going to take a long time. If you're running a process, like Chelsea had to be sold, and it took 6 months. If you're running a process, it's 6 to 9 months to sell. If you're just like courting someone in the press, it would be a year or 2 years for a deal to be done. Next bit of news here. Gary Neville, quote, "It's not sustainable." Gary Neville launches a renewed attack on the negligent, low on cash Glazer ownership of Manchester United, reveals his frustration at them rejecting Sir Ratcliffe. I mean, this is just yelling into the wind. I mean, this is...
Sounds like us.
Pry it from
pry
it from my cold dead hands. That's
I'll tell you what,
it's not. They're not going to go quietly into that
early.
good night.
Ain't giving up easy.
Next bit of news: furious Manchester United fans are having to prove they were at matches because a turnstile IT glitch means the club thinks they stayed away and could stop them renewing season tickets. The new season ticket rules, if you don't know and you're not a season ticket holder, you must attend 10 out of 19 league games or your tickets are gone, because apparently people are holding on to tickets. And as season ticket holders, we understand this because we have to use and or transfer or donate all of our tickets. So I really don't think this is that big of a deal. But again, the ticketing situation at Old Trafford is just generally a mess. I think you had a real problem. We have season tickets and we have trouble getting into the game. It's like insane. It's that complicated where you have like a ticket on your phone, then you get a ticket for every game, and it just goes to the point where in America, there's this thing called StubHub and Ticketmaster. They are the greatest evil ever, and they're a monopoly, etc. But at the same time, like, I wanted to go to the Stanley Cup Final, Colorado Avalanche, Tampa Bay Lightning. I just go on StubHub, I pay an obscene amount of money, and I walk in. It is coming for the Premier League. This whole season tickets, mandatory minimums, it makes no sense. It's just it sucks, but that is coming for the English Premier League. They can't stop it. They absolutely can't stop it. The tickets are artificially priced low. If you wanted to try to buy a ticket on the secondary market, which is illegal to do, it's £500 for a home game, £400 if you want to go to Chelsea or something. It's insane. But again, it's illegal to do. But those are the floodgates are coming behind, and I just think that this whole ticketing confusion, as a Manchester United fan, if I'm traveling and I want to go to Manchester United away, you can't do it unless you've had season tickets for 5 years and you apply to an allocation and it gets approved. And then what happens if the game gets moved? It's just such a nightmare for fans around the world to want to watch this club.
100%. And it's one thing if you're a season ticket holder, right? Talking about have you gone to the matches? Have you not gone to the matches? It's been like this since I've been a Manchester United fan since 04, 05, trying to get there. It's you get tickets from really dubious sources. It's not like the United States. It's not like buying even tickets to MLB where you're a season ticket holder, you can just put it back on a marketplace and someone can buy it for face value. That should exist. It's 2022. This is the biggest league in the world in terms of eyeballs and probably money attached to it, and you still like it's impossible to get tickets. Like you said, if you're a neutral or even a fan just trying to get a ticket to a game, even through those sources like you mentioned, they're like, maybe your ticket will work.
No, but
there's no guarantee.
It's like it's an international sport, and it's like there should be an allocation. Like, and I like there should be an allocation where like fans traveling from countries outside of England who don't live in Manchester can buy tickets from the club at like a marked up price to go to away games. In order for us to qualify for away games, we have to own our season tickets for, I think, 3 or 4 years. We have to buy every single home game, every Europa League, every FA Cup, every EFL Cup, every EPL game. We have to purchase all those tickets from the club for like 4 years, and then we are eligible, bottom of the barrel, to put our hat in the ring for an away game. So it'd be like you and me put our hat in the ring for an away game, and then we get the draw probably like 3 weeks before. Then we got to book our flights and go. It is a archaic system, and now they're implementing these minimums on top of it. Something's got to change. I think there's going to be the EPL will do something with the clubs and somehow decide that like the Premier League will control this ticketing lottery and purchase system that then they'll share the profits. I'm sure this is in the works, like as we're talking about, is like an EPL owned Ticketmaster where they can charge the United States fans and like fans from China like top dollar and somehow participate in the market.
It's a global sport. I know home fans that have been, that are local, that have been fans of this team for a long, long time should get some kind of advantage, but like there should be a marketplace for sharing those tickets, selling those tickets, being able to go to games because, dude, if you're a fan of one of these teams, you want to get to see them in the flesh, and even go to, away game is a whole different animal and a totally different experience, especially as a United fan, right? It's like, that is a step up in terms of intensity that, cannot be understated. It is just like a different beast. So, you and I, we've gone to a number of them. They're super fun. They're a different animal. But like getting those tickets has been like, holy shit, it's a stretch.
Yeah, and actually,
half the time you don't even know if the tickets are going to work. We've been lucky, but dude, it's a crapshoot.
No, but a lot of the fans, like a lot of the way the season tickets go is people like hold on to them and then they share them. So like, it's really not like a season ticket, like one person from Manchester going. It's like, no, they have an allotment, they pass the card around, and they just like hold on to it, like never let it go type of thing. So it's just a weird system, and it's actually a lot of work to manage, but we can talk about ticketing all day. Let's jump into fan questions here. At Red Devil Woody, got the win, the most important thing. Made hard work of it. Rashford was great tonight. Scotty with the Mick goal. You love to see it. Hashtag Glazers out.
You love to see it. You love to see players contributing. Scotty getting bumped by Casemiro. He gets hooked in the 80th, comes on, gets the winner. Sancho, he's been all over the place. Certainly not living up to that price tag. A lot of promise there, but came in, made an impact, has the assist. And you know what? Really, hats off to Erik ten Hag. I think he managed the game exceptionally well. Shown making subs early, making the right type of subs, and also just going for it. Those 3 points, they were important, and we picked them up.
At Jamal Mota, quote, sirs, I'm not sure that was other than ugly. Lucky to win at the death through McSauce. Credit to their keeper and also the fans who were loud. Let's get ready for Castle. Hashtag glory, glory, Man United. At Mike United Mets, quote, maybe the most possession dominant game we've seen under Erik ten Hag, and the 3.59 XG on another day. It could have been 5 or 6 goals. The challenge becomes being able to dominate a game like that against better and better teams. The Sirs going halfsies on the $10 billion to buy the club. If I had it, I'd buy it.
I'll tell you what. If I had it, that's right. If I had $10 billion, I'd buy it.
I'd live at the stadium.
Yeah.
I'd literally like wake up.
My wife would be
coffee.
thrilled. If we're moving to Manchester, the weather's not as nice as Northern California. She'd be thrilled.
My morning routine would be like I wake up, have coffee. I have like
go down to Carrington.
Start and I'll wake up every morning, do a little workout on the pitch. Obviously, as a billionaire, you got to be like kicking the ball around on the field.
Tracksuit, Darren Fletcher over here.
No, I'd be close. You got to be in the box.
In the practice, you'd be like in the practice. Nobody, I bought the team.
Nobody's. Sir, I'd obviously be in training.
I know you would.
I'd obviously be in training with Ronaldo.
Tracksuit with your initials, being like, "Let's go, boys!"
Like, you're kidding me? You're not going to go train with Ronaldo? Like, you're going to maybe not the whole session, but I'd be like jumping in.
I don't think you keep up.
I'd be jumping. If you own the team and you jump in
there all the time, bro.
You'd be jumping. You'd be holding the jersey with all the lads keeping the ball away from you. I'd let you do that.
I'll tell you what, I'd hire smarter people than Richard Arnold and John Murtaugh. That'd be the first thing I'd do.
Yeah, I mean, like
idiots.
priority is not jumping into training. First of all,
It's like firing people.
Yeah, we're like Glazers are horrible. It's like if I own the club, I'd be in training. Yeah, that's at United Scout quote, "Sirs, I think this came perfectly. Shows why we need a striker. Victor Osimhen showed that dog in him yesterday against Ajax. More hungry, passionate players needed. We shouldn't be handing out the biggest contracts anymore." I haven't heard of Victor very much, but I guess he is a sharp prospect we should be looking into.
I don't know about him, but it's a really good question. It's like the whole contract management. Who do you get big contracts? We have 5 big players all coming last year of their contract that have, the low. Rashford, I think Shaw's coming up. Obviously, De Gea is the one that's been talked about a lot as well. Who do you renew? You set bad precedent. It's one thing to give $350 a week to Varane or to a Casemiro, but like giving $350 a week to Jadon Sancho.
But that's the problem with United.
He ain't earned $350 a week.
We're leaky because we only go for the big buys.
That's right.
It's leaky bucket FC. Hey, we needed a midfield. Okay, boom, finally got that leak. Boom, out the other side, striker. And those aren't cheap. You saw Nunez go for like 80. Sesko would have been 50. So that bucket's just like leaking. We got Martial and Ronaldo. That's about it. So then Murtaugh said we're not spending any more money. Who's going to be like the number 9 at Manchester United? It's like that's $100 million right there, and like the Glazers are not going to. Ronaldo's leaving, Martial's injured. Something's got to give. Garnacho can do it, but you got to have like at least 2 people. We're not going to get 2, so it'd be Martial plus somebody like bargain bin buy. The problem is we're always catching up. The bucket's always leaking at United. We never have the full squad. And if we, instead of split the Sancho fee into maybe 2 players, if you didn't buy Ahmad and Facundo.
Fucking ridiculous.
That's a striker right there.
Donny's never going to play again for this team.
Ahmad, Facundo, Donny, that's a world-class striker. And that's the problem with Manchester United. If you buy Antony, why'd you buy Ahmad, Facundo? You buy Sancho, you don't need those players either.
Why'd you buy Donny Van de Beek if he's never going to play? It's a very good question.
You didn't
sir.
buy Sancho to play on the left
Julian
either.
Alvarez, right? The player that City picked up, like £17 million. You could have gotten Sesko for 25. Maybe we
Sesko was 50.
I know, but he went for 20 to the RB conglomerate. I hear you. But like
we got Ronaldo
we're reactive, not proactive. They reacted in this summer. They reacted late because of the fan pressure and because of the start of the season. They were not willing to spend that amount of cash when we opened the transfer window in June. They reacted to it, and that's how they've always done, because these are not proactive businessmen. These are people that are just like thinking about the bottom line, thinking about sucking cash off of that balance sheet and just like cutting slabs of bacon off, sir. I'll tell you what, they're selling the TV rights. They're selling the naming rights. They might sell more. I don't know what else they could sell. What do they do beyond that? I think what else is there to sell? There's probably something else.
Sir, there's a lot to sell.
There's always something to sell.
There's a lot to sell. Look, that's it. That's the podcast. You like the America Red Devils. We are for fans, by fans. Support the pod. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/America Red Devils. Check out our store, americareddevils.store. Buy some merch. It all goes to support the pod. It is really good quality stuff. Check out our website, www.americareddevils.com. Blog content, everything you need to know is there. Also, subscribe wherever you listen. It's just me and Alex in the bunker, 6 a.m. Pacific, doing Hans and Franz Europa League recaps, baby. Pod never sleeps. Give us the top 10 cities last 7 days.
Sir, number 1, how you doing? Livermore, California. Reseda, California. Palo Alto, California. What up, Cali? Venice, Florida. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Belfast, Northern Ireland. Sunderberg, Denmark. London, UK. Oof. Youngjae-ju, South Korea. I don't know how I did there. Apologies in advance. And LA, California. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. Greatest club in the world, sir. Glazers out. We got to get him out. Radcliffe, save us. Elon Musk, save us. Somebody save us. But until then, Eric Ten Hag, we believe in you. Big game on Sunday. Magpies, let's beat them up. But for now, sir, pride of all Europe.